July 2022, there was an election, and the president elect was Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., and his vice president was Sarah Duterte, and they were elected president and vice president on a, quote, uniteam ticket. 2 years later, Vice President Duterte formally broke with Marcos. She resigned from her cabinet positions, and by February of this year had been impeached by the Philippine House of Representatives for, among other charges, plotting to assassinate the president. Meanwhile, her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, was just apprehended in Manila and, with President Marcos's cooperation, handed over to the International Criminal Court for alleged crimes against humanity associated with his presidency's war on drugs. Reggie Lay, what's going on? How did this dynastic feud between the Marcoses and the Dutertes start, and why should we care about it?
There's a couple of theories on why and how exactly it started. One of the more one of the persistent theories is that it started when she was denied the cabinet position that she wanted, which is defense. Right? She had asked for it. She had been vocal about it, or even as early as the campaign period. And instead, she was given education, right? Which is, not a small portfolio by any means, but it wasn't what she wanted. And she had her heart set on defense. And that's when it started unraveling. Although for the better part of, for the next year after that, they did put in an effort to try to put out a united front and try to make it seem like all was okay in their alliance, right? And that's where it began. It feels towards the end that as we went along, it felt more like she was being sidelined in his cabinet, and it wasn't the equal partnership that they had struck at the very start. One thing that probably a lot of people looking at this from the outside don't know or don't remember is that Bongbong Marcos didn't really have much of a chance at the presidency until Sarah gave way. Because in the polls, she was leading, and she was wishy-washy about whether she was going to run for the top job. And it wasn't until just maybe a few months before the elections that's when she decided, okay, I'll go for the vice presidency instead and let Bongbong Marcos run for chief executive. And her reasoning at that time was that she has young kids, and she does, right? She had maybe toddlers at that point in time, and she didn't want the stress of running the whole country by herself. And I guess if you were to put yourself in her shoes and think about it, right? I gave you the presidency is how I would see it, right? You're nothing if not because of me, if not because of me giving way to you. And so I guess there would be a lot of unhappiness on her part over the way her and her family have been treated.